Alright, welcome back everybody. We got some Guild Wars for you today. The guild we're fighting is ChangYim TH. I'm not super familiar with them, but looking at some of their defenses, they look pretty good. This is the one we're going to start on right here, because it'll allow me to showcase some of the teams I like to use. This first team is what I call my Theo killing team. It's just super tanky wind, all wind. It's got the res, which comes into play anytime Theo takes 3 turns. And we've got the heal through heal block, which really helps if someone puts a Theo with the Commune, which happens quite a bit. I feel like Chasun is a really good kind of Commune counter because she can heal still, whereas if I bring something like a Praha, as soon as that heal block's up, I'm in trouble. Against the second team, it's interesting they chose Leo as their leader instead of a speed lead, so it's possible that these other 2 units are super slow tuned to Leo, though not really likely. They wouldn't have a lot of uses later in the game. So what I like to do against teams with 1 threat is to bring triple counters against the threat and just deal with the elemental disadvantage against the Orion because he's not going to hit very hard, and then the Gemini will just kind of hang out with the Gemini. It's not going to be a big deal because we're neutral no matter what I bring. So it's a choice between these 3, which I feel like is pretty strong, or bringing in Okeanos for the stuns, and just as kind of a personal preference. I think I want a little bit more. I want to hit a little bit harder, so I'm going to bring these 3. So let's get to it. I'm really a fan of all one element in offense. I really am a fan of that. You can kind of expect to have advantage against the units you want to have advantage of. So there's only one choice here to bomb. We bomb it. I can tell looking at the Chasun versus my Seara, who's 250 speed, that Chasun is really, really fast. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 250. Having cut in between my other units, she's definitely over around 210. So she is not one to be messed with. The Theo and the Eladriel on Will is kind of nice because I know that, you know, that Theo is not going to revenge me no matter how many times I smack into it, and the Eladriel is not on Nemesis. I didn't notice if the Chasun was Nemesis or not. I don't think I really hit it with anything yet, so there's no way to know. Yep, definitely on Nemesis. I saw that attack bar go up. So we had to pop the Chasun. I would have liked to have healed, but I'm sorry, popped the Theo, but you got to pop the Theo as soon as you can. So we'll just keep hitting into it, even though we're probably going to earn ourselves a Fallen Blossoms. Yeah, I think I want to maybe bring that down a little bit if I can. That's in a situation when you get a bomb on Theo, you're like, violent proc. But he never does. He only violent procs when you're, you know, stunned or defense broken or, you know, just sad in general. And I'm, in a team like this, I am more than willing to over-bomb just to get rid of him. Because every turn he takes is a potential for a loss. You know, at any point he can burn down any unit. So I think I want the bomb on the Eladriel so that when it goes low, but the Chasun's just too tempting sitting that low. Especially the Eladriel's going to go to half health. I guess the Chasun could balance with the Theo. Let's see what he does. So getting really lucky so far with the procs, I think. He just hasn't gone nuts yet, which is always great. The other thing the Eladriel provides here is the buff removal on her turn or skill 1. And that can be really useful on Theo as well. Every once in a while I'll get a lucky Guild War where they use that buff removal to take off the Endure, and then I'm good. If that happens, that's like a gift. So we just keep bombing away. If we're stable on health, I use Chasun's attack buff as an attack buff instead of as a heal. Oh man, it's always a bummer when the Eladriel takes that many turns because you know that res is just right around the corner. Oh, let's get it. Alright, so we get a little break to work on the Eladriel. But I'm sure that res is within a turn or 2. It might have resed that turn had we not stunned it with the bomb. Alright, so we can definitely afford to do this. Oh, those full heals are tough. But, I mean, he's using the same team I'm using, just with Theo as the threat instead of... Oh, should I... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we can do here. It's not great to move off of Theo, but if I can get a little bit lucky and burn her down... She seems pretty slow. Maybe? Eladriel? Not sure. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. See if we can't get it. Okay, so now we just have to deal with Theo. That's only a single proc as well. I don't know that I've seen a proc out of this Theo yet. But it's sort of unimaginable. It's not Violent Will. Alright, we'll get the heal. And from this point, I don't know. I want to say we can just auto on the Theo, but you never know. You never know. They do crazy things. So that's how I deal with Theo teams in general. The hardest team for me to face with this team is Theo paired with Racuni. Racuni is a really, really strong unit. He brings so much to the table on Guild Wars defense that it's hard to deal with. The fact that he can give Theo an extra turn, which is what makes Theo dangerous. I mean, I feel like a Racuni command buff paired with a single Theo proc is a dead unit on your team. And the fact that he slows down Theo's death by cleansing and slows down your ability to stun Theo by cleansing is just so good. I'd rather deal with an Orion all day than with a Racuni. For this comp anyway. Alright, so the Leo went first, chained into the Orion, which makes sense. It's probably a fast Orion. Looked like it was an Orion on Will, which is really interesting. I think I want to work on the Gemini? No, I better just work on the Leo. The only issue with working on the Leo is if they doesn't, if I don't get a stun or something like that and he does his torrent and it just tears you up. There's nothing you can do about it. It's ignoring defense. So that worked out really well, and that's pretty much all I needed to happen to win this comp. So if you're going to go second, it's a really good idea to be have full elemental advantage against their threat. If they're going to bring a single threat speed type comp, and you're going to go second or you choose to go second, bring a full elemental counter to that threat. It'll just put you in better shape. And I like the Racuni because it's a passive cleanse as well. So if things go a little sideways, which they tend to do with Orions and Geminis, you can dig yourself out of that hole a little bit. So that was the first match using two elementally neutral teams. This was another one I thought was interesting. So we've got the Theo Draco Chasun on the bottom, and the kind of speedy Perna nuke 'em down type team. So what I think I'll do for the top one, let's move this down here for now. I want Perna to hit something she can't kill, which she can kill pretty much everything, but she can't kill Laika. So we're going to bring Laika. And then I need something that she won't hit, even if it's defense broken. So that's going to be water units. So Theo's going to come along, and I want to bring Orion, but it's not going to go first. So I think Taor is a good choice. I'm a little worried about his squishiness, though. If something else hits him, he's going to be in big trouble. My Water Homunculus is also an interesting choice, because he's guaranteed to at least get a turn when he revives. I don't know. The Perna is going to be an issue on the second life. I think we'll go for this. I think we'll see how that goes. Yeah. There's no heal for the Laika, though, so as soon as the Laika starts getting hit, the Laika's in big trouble. I wonder if it's worth bringing any sort of sustain, like a Praha. I don't think it is. But then, watch me just get ready. We'll give it a try. All right, for the bottom one, we've got Defense Break on Draco, we've got the Bar Boost, and we've got Immunity. Great combo. This combo that I use, my all-win team wouldn't be bad against it particularly. I'd like to be able to get the Will off of Theo a little more reliably. So I think maybe I'll bring Okeanos to this and see how it goes. I think Okeanos might bring a little bit more here than Eladriel. So we'll see. To me, these are both slightly more risky comps, but that's part of the fun, especially once you've already won the guild battle. Why not, play with some different comps, try some things, and see what happens. All right, so there's that. Time to loot. And he's going to go on Laika, right? Yes. Excellent. So would have been nice if he'd stunned, but, that's just greedy. I think I'm okay with the health situation of all these units right now. I think I'm going to try to freeze the Galleon and cause some damage to the Perna. Let's hit it with skill 1 here. Okay, see if we can't finish it off. That's life 1. And that Galleon gets to just sit and freeze for a little while, which is nice. Okay, now we'll come with the Squall. About half health. This is actually going pretty well. I mean, my Theo probably won't survive this, but lucky proc. And the Perna's down. Now we just got to deal with our other issues here. Since Laika and Theo both have elemental advantage against the Galleon and the Bernard, I feel like I want to burn down the real threat in the Galleon first. Alright, half health. So this might just be a rune, an out-runing sort of a thing here, or maybe I just got lucky, but that worked out pretty well. That was not as intense as I thought it might be. So Draco does not have a remove like Veligil, so I can let that bomb sit there. He can get his immunity, and then he'll get bombed anyway. So I think the best bet is to reset the Draco. Missed it, unfortunately. We'll keep debuffing the Theo. and we'll see how it goes. So there's the immunity and the bar buff. Theo's going to get a bomb here in just a second, which is nice. But I don't have as much heals as I used to. Oh, he resisted the stun from the bomb. Oh, look at that hit. 29k. That might be enough to seal my fate there. Let's try this. What a great amount of damage he did there. It's always a bummer when the bomb works and they proc out of it too. You're like, you had one job. You're guaranteed to work, except for the 15% chance. All right. So if we can burn down this Theo quickly, we might have a shot, but otherwise we're looking at a draw here. Just burning down that Theo. Maybe we can get the reset. We did. All right, Theo, time to blow up. We're going to put 2 bombs. Yeah, I think that's the safe play. Theo can wreck us. We can survive the other units a little bit longer. All right, see if we can't do something about this Draco here. Single stun, not bad. We'll reset the Chasun. Nope, missed it. Missing a lot of the resets lately. Seems like I can't rely on them. But the Chasun's a high resistance unit in general, so that's not totally surprising. So now I'm just sort of burning down equally, waiting for the opportunity to do some burst with a bomb, because that will help negate Chasun's Fallen Blossoms. So, okay. So let's try to reset the Draco one more time. Missed again. All right. So I wanted to use the bomb, but I'm not. That would be a mistake. If we can just get a chance to stun here, that would be really nice. All right. Looks like we're going to get a bomb off here in a second. Come on, double stun. Single stun. It's like we're getting close to what we want, but not quite, over and over. All right, got the stun on the bomb. We're going to try to reset. Maybe we can push a little bit. My Seara is pretty, she's pretty tanky. She's not meant to nuke someone down with a single bomb, so I have to kind of wait around for procs. All right, that is the situation we want. If we can remove Chasun's buddy, her heal won't really do anything. All right, so we're going to try and see. Okay, good. And we'll just set it on auto, and I think we're good here. Yep, they're just going to do their thing. All right, so that worked out well. We ended up with a win. I was worried it would be a draw because we lost our healer to a massive Theo proc, but it worked out. We took out their one threat, and we were able to, with 2 sort of control-y stun units, keep everything under wraps long enough to get the second win. All right, for our third attack, let's look for something. So this, I lost the Chasun though, so I can't really show that comp there. Let's see, what's a good team to attack here? I don't know what to do with that Sean. Gosh, that's a tough one. The Theo Vela, that's a tough one. Whenever they have a Racon and they protect the Racon with something else, it's just really, really difficult because you want to bring something in there to nuke the Racon, but, there's not a ton of options. This could be interesting. Gosh, another Racon, though. Okay, that might be a good target. We can show you the Racuni I was talking about earlier. Interesting. Seara, Theo, Eladriel. That's a really interesting one. All right, yeah, let's do this. I want to show you that Racuni in action, how just devastating it can be. For the bottom team, I need to tank that monkey. And, of course, the best tank for a monkey is a Rina. So we're going to bring a Rina. Since they don't have a lot of things that'll make the monkey change targets, the Orion's the only thing. So my damage dealer needs to be fire to hopefully discourage discourage the monkey switching. So I think Perna's my best choice. That'll give me some sustain on the Rina as well when she's stunned and super slow and things like that. Now I feel like I need something to deal with heal block is my only issue. And I'm not sure if it's a good idea to bring something like a Theo or just kind of deal with the heal block as it comes. I think for the top comp, I will bring Seara Eladriel just for some extra survivability. And man, I am tempted to bring something like a Liebly, but I need a resetter, I think, for that beta. That beta is going to be a disaster if I can't stop it somehow. Okay, so I'm not bringing Taor for sure. I need one more unit. Maybe the The Laika is a kind of a good choice, but as soon as he's heal blocked, he just gets burned down, and it's a mess. Maybe my Tessa would be a good choice here. I think Tessa's a good choice. So he's on double revenge, 217 speed on HP, HP, HP. Not fully maxed and obviously not fully skilled. I like that team. We'll do that. We'll do the Tessa to hopefully interfere with some of their passives. All right, let's see how it goes. Fight 3. All right, so looking at the speed, I always like to look at the speed. My Seara is 250, my Okeanos is around 230. So, you know, the Racuni's slowest, which makes sense, probably on Violent. The Theo's on Will, which is really nice, because I don't have to deal with him first turn. I just have to deal with him constantly. So, let's go for the reset. Got it. Excellent. And with the Racuni, you have this balancing act, especially with bombs, of getting bombs on the target you want, but not making sure that target is your lowest HP target, because the bombs will just get cleansed. So the Theo looks pretty squishy, so he's my target. So I got to kind of play a little bit of back and forth with these two units as I burn them down kind of in sync. Though maybe the Theo's squishy enough where I can just focus on him. Oh, he's getting another turn. No, good, I get a heal. All right, so I think I want to reset. I think I want to just keep resetting the beta. I think that's the best choice. And I'll work on her a little bit so that I can start dropping bombs on Theo. Ooh, that was a big hit. Okay. We still got the revive in our pocket, which is nice. All right, I was going to detonate it had it landed, just to prevent him getting another turn of DPS, but it did not land. So we're going to get the revive. There's our HP to 31.6k, so you can see how just devastating Theo can be. I mean, that is about as tanky as I can build her. All right, so we're going to go ahead and reset. Excellent, we got it. So the next time I can bomb and detonate to get the kill, we won't have to deal with him until Beta brings him back, of course. All right, now Okeanos has taken the hits. That Theomars just hits so hard. It's really well built on Will. All right, can we get it? We got it. All right, so we have a little bit, super little bit of a reprieve. We've been lucky that the Beta hasn't gotten the cooldown of the Will yet, the immunity. Been really lucky there. So we're just going to keep working on her until we get our revive back up and hopefully get our Okeanos back. She had a revive fairly recently, so hopefully I will beat her to the revive. All right, so she got her buff up. We're going to bring Okeanos back. And we have a little bit of... This is kind of what happens when I bring Eladriel. If things go well and I can get down the DPS, I get a little bit of a break. Though with her taking 3 turns in a row, her cooldowns are going to be right back up. We're not going to get as big of a break as we would have. So I'm putting a little bit of DPS on the Racuni so that he resurges and cleanses himself versus that bomb on the Beta. So hopefully that's how that'll go. But with double bomb, it's so tempting to just blow him up. I think I'm going to let it sit, though, because I might be able to use one of the stuns at least. Okay, we're going to go for the full stun instead of the cooldown. Even though I want to use the cooldown, I feel like the stun's a better choice here. All right, let's see if we can't cool her down. We got a nice violent proc there. Oh, yeah, look, she took 2 turns. So now we're just trying to burn her down quickly if we can, because she is just going to be a disaster if we let her get her revive off. All right, we landed one finally, and we're just going to auto the Racuni. Cool. So that worked out really well. Probably was more effective than it would have been with the Chasun, which is what I normally would bring to that comp, just because I feel like the Chasun's super safe, the attack buff is nice, but the Okeanos control with the reset is just so strong. And anytime you can bring a unit that you feel comfortable with in RTA, you know you're statting it as ridiculous as you can. So you're not going to generally be at a rune disadvantage if you're, you know, a heavy RTA player and you bring those units to Guild Wars. So that's kind of how I approach it. He is just tough to burn down because he keeps cleansing everything. He keeps healing. I like the Racuni. I wouldn't mind having one on Nemesis. Or triple Nemesis, maybe, if I had the runes for it. But I've pretty much had to choose between Violent and Swift so far in my Racuni builds. Mine is currently Swift. I like the Violent build more, but, you know, there's just not a lot of Violent runes to go around. So we're almost done here. Kind of a lengthy round 1. I like to bring safe teams. And I've never really gotten a good Copper team off the ground yet. So I have a Copper, have a Bulldozer, have all the units. I just haven't quite built them where I feel like they're safe. All right, so we've got the draw in the bag so far. Let's see if we can't get the win here. All right, so I am expecting Theo to revenge quite a bit, so good job, Theo, on that first time. If we can get 2 turns without the shield from Kamoon we're going to be in really good shape here. So that was our first turn. Now we just need Perna to bring a little DPS. Wow, that was a lot of DPS. Good job, Perna. All right, so that was quick work of the Monkey King. That was best case scenario there. That went really, really well. Now we're just going to try to focus on the Commune, try to get the Oblivion up if we can, and hopefully we'll burn him down. Doesn't make any sense to work on the Orion since we're disadvantaged there. All right, we're going to use Rina to heal. Lucky stun, burning through the shield, and get that Oblivion up. Excellent. So that should be good to go. Tessa, I don't remember to bring Tessa a lot because I didn't get him for a while. And when I bring him and he works like this, I think I should be using him all the time. I mean, that trivialized a unit that can be a huge pain. All right, I think we just set it to auto now. I don't know that Orion has enough DPS to burn Perna down before he gets his revive back. So those are my 3 Guild Wars for today. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I like talking about them. I don't do Guild War videos very often because there's a lot going on that I need to talk through. Target selection's an interesting thing to talk about. So if y'all enjoyed it, let me know. I'll try to do some more in the future. And yeah, 3-0, not too bad. I will see y'all next time. Take care, everybody.